Good morning and welcome to Join the Dots, Follow the Truth. So important. And today I'm going to talk about housing. And housing is a way that most people develop their wealth in most parts of the world. The US is a little bit different. People are very much stock market conscious. But housing wealth is critical. And it's incredibly critical to the banking market and therefore financial markets generally. So housing is not just somewhere you live, unfortunately. Probably until the 1960s it was. But then it became a financial asset. And the question is, at this point in time, is it your future wealth or is it in fact a risk to your future wealth? This is what we'll discuss today. Now, I'm not being immodest, but I'm incredibly well versed in financial systems and their effect on housing markets. And no better can I explain this to you than talking through my history in Dubai, the UAE, throughout 2003 to 2017. There I saw the market explode, and of course it was demand driven. A lot of people were moving to Dubai. It was marketing itself superbly. And as you can see, I'm wearing the shirt. And it was an incredible atmosphere, and the country, the state was growing incredibly. And so we came to 2008, and I had already spotted what I felt was a global financial crisis, and I said that to my clients in June 07. I said, we're heading for a global financial crisis. I saw Northern Rock crash in October 07 in the UK. First bank to collapse under the control of the Bank of England. 300 years. And it just passed without too much mention. And then Bear Stearns went in March 08. And then, of course, we reached the Lehman moment. But before we reached the Lehman moment, I was invited to join Dubai Eye, the major radio station in the UAE, in Dubai particularly, to discuss housing because they had a property program that was the most popular program other than the drive-in, drive-out programs where everyone's on their car radio. Other than that, it was the most popular program on Dubai radio. And I was invited to join, and I went along, and I'm going to tell you now, I always tell the truth. So it's very difficult for me to contemplate not telling the truth. So when I was asked the question, what do you foresee in the Dubai housing market? I simply said, well, as a result of global forces and global illiquidity, I can see 70% falls in Dubai house prices. Can you imagine how popular that was? Well, I drove home from the studio and was contacted to say, you won't be on again. And I thought, well, that's fine. I only tell the truth. I'm only interested in the truth. Because if you don't work from the truth, you're going to end up in a messy place. By March 09, the property market had fallen about 50%. And so I was invited back onto the radio again. And Siobhan Layden, the presenter, lovely lady, said to me, Mike, when you were on here and asked, you said property would fall 70%. It's fallen 50%. So will it fall another 20? I said, well, you have to do the maths here, I'm afraid, because if you've fallen 50 from 100 and you're going to get to 30, which is a 70% fall, you have to fall 40% from here to be down at 30% from the original price. Again, I got home, I was told, don't come back. June 09, property had fallen generally 70%, some areas 60, some 80, whatever, but generally 70%. I then did that radio show for 4 years, constantly until November of 13. And then Dubai was awarded the Expo 2020. Everyone was so excited. We'd won Expo. House prices are going to rocket. And I thought, well, no, they've already rocketed if you look at it. So I was invited on and I was asked again the same question, what do you see? And I said, well, and I thought, I'm going to be careful here. I said, I can see that everyone has bought houses, house prices have exploded, but to convert that money, convert that profit, you have to then sell. So I could see sales. So to cut the long story short, I predicted a 15 to 40% fall, trying to be a bit careful. And of course, by 2016, it had fallen 40%. But anyway, when I drove home from that session, I was told, you will never, ever be on Dubai Radio again. And the property show, in fact, was Cannes. So that's the background. What do I see now? China's property market has fallen roughly 50%. And we're talking about a $62 trillion market, the largest single asset market on the planet. Can you get the scale? Can you get the scale? That means the losses are $30 trillion. Compare that to subprime at 3.4. Okay? It's 8 to 9 times subprime. 8 to 9 times. Okay? So that's what we're dealing with. I've had to give you the background so that you can understand that I understand the effect on global markets of a massive asset fall and therefore a banking crisis. So in 2008-9, the total subprime losses at the end of the day were calculated at 3.4 billion. China's alone are 30 trillion, sorry, not 3.4 trillion. I always get the billions and trillions confused. 3.4 trillion. This was 30 trillion. So what we're seeing is a massive effect on the liquidity and banking systems. That is transferring now, and I can read you some numbers. You see New Zealand. New Zealand at the moment is 16.3% down from its peak. We look at Canada, and we look at 15% to 20% fall in condo prices, and that's condos, okay? Houses generally are a little bit less, 3.2%. But believe me, once the effect starts to move through the banking system, it's like you look at a speedboat and you look at an oil tanker. An oil tanker is your house price, isn't it? It just moves, glides, and gets to its destination, and everything's fine, okay? But you can't turn that oil tanker. But if you do, it's going the wrong way. And that's what happens with housing. Once the market turns, it's going the wrong way for a long way. You can't stop it, okay? We're seeing that now in New Zealand, we're seeing it in Canada. I think we're going to see it in Australia, and we're going to see it. UK is starting to report some very serious falls, okay? Despite the immigration, despite the massive amount of illegal immigrants, legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. Immigrants are swarming in, but at the end of the day, people can't afford the house prices, so they will fall. There is a very good gentleman who I found actually not long ago on UK housing, and his name is Sasha. Sasha Takes on UK. He's mentioned in the description below. Please have a look at his site, it's good. And what I promised to do to you when I started this service was I will bring you the very best voices on each subject. Now you can go and look at them all, and that's fine. Or you can wait until I consolidate them and bring you all the information from all those sources. That's what I'm doing. As I said yesterday, I've watched 9,000 YouTube videos. I know who's telling the truth. I know who's trying to get clicks. I know who's trying to make money out of sensationalism. Not me. I'm telling you the truth. And the truth on housing is that we are at a turning point, an inflection point. The tanker is turned and it's heading the wrong way. All right? Now, we'll discuss this a lot more in future shows, but I'm trying to just give you the heads up for what is happening. And underneath the surface, everything is wrong. Every criteria is wrong for housing. And don't worry about the talk about rate cuts. Rate cuts always come too late. The tanker's turned. You can't turn it again. It's on its way back to port. Okay? And so what I'm saying today is this is an incredibly important issue for you, probably for your wealth. If people have bought buy-to-lets 2, 3, 4, 5, some have, then it's a dangerous time to be over-leveraged. If you've got more than 50% debt to your asset price at the moment, I could expect that to become 0. and I mean that most sincerely. Okay, we work from the truth, we work from history, we work from banking systems. I understand banking systems. No one in Dubai could see that the US subprime would bring Dubai prices down 50%, 60%, 70%. They did, and they will again. And no more so can we see that in the largest single asset market on the planet, Goldman Sachs, 62 trillion, China's property market has probably halved. Okay, that's an introduction. There's an awful lot of data here that I would like to give to you over the next few episodes when we talk about global housing. Thank you very much for watching today, and I'll see you tomorrow.